Hello and welcome to Feng Shui with Anita and Cheryl
Cheryl.
and our F.L.A.W.C YouTube channel. And this is our playlist. And F.L.A.W.C stands for Fruit Loop and Wind Chime Club. Of course, that was an endearment that was given to us by our friend Lee Carroll. However, we have come to know that F.L.A.C stands for a lot of other things. And that's why we have beautiful guests that we are just gathering and sharing our F.L.A.C with our F.L.A.C. And Cheryl is going to introduce our amazing guest today.
Yay! And I am excited. For those that know me, I'm a pretty creative person, but not when it comes to art or painting. So I have known our guest for a number of years, and recently I signed up to take one of her classes. As you can see behind her, some incredible art. See, mine is purchased, hers is created. There's the difference. Anyway, I am thrilled and honored to have our special guest, Janice Gallant, join us today from the Creation Guild. And we're going to hear all about Janice and probably some stories that neither Anita or I know. So welcome.
Thank you. I was thrilled to get your invitation here. So thank you. I'm honored to be with the two of you.
We are super excited to have you. So everybody has a story. Everybody has come from someplace, and we're finding some very fascinating stories from our other guests on their upbringing, on their childhood, and whether or not they're stepping into all their talents was supported, so to speak. So for many, it was like, oh my gosh, I saw things and I couldn't tell anybody. Your upbringing, Janice, what kind of background, family did you come from? Like, what are your roots?
Right. I actually grew up in a little street called Sunview Street in Waterloo, Ontario. And my father is an artist. And so that's where I learned art. He sat me down when I was just maybe 9 or 10 years old at our kitchen table and taught me how to paint with oil paints. And so that started my art journey. And I painted, like I kept going with him. He taught art lessons in our basement. But he was the starving artist. He actually quit his job as an engineer to open up an art gallery and picture framing store. And when I was 12 years old, I started working there, helping out whenever I wasn't in school. And it was a place for him to, be in his passion and to continue to be able to paint and support the arts in our small town of Waterloo. At that time, it was small, no longer small anymore. And so we just closed that family business 2 years ago, I think it was. Wow. Just 2 years ago. It's been going ever since then. But he struggled. Like, it was not easy, to do that. And so we didn't have a lot growing up. But we had this business and he was following his dream. And that was part of where I learned to follow my dream and he always said, you can do whatever it is that you want to do. You can do whatever you put your heart to. And I was one of 3 girls and then a younger brother. So it was really wonderful to get that message growing up.
No kidding.
Yeah. There was a lot of struggles growing up too. My mom suffered from, I believe now, mental health issues and alcoholism. And so there was a lot of, dynamics happening that I had to work through as I got older. And of course, working through that starving artist archetype that that I had to say, no, that's not the truth here, right? That's not what I'm going to focus on. And so, yeah, it was great that way. The arts were very supported, and I was surrounded with artists in our community and was blessed to be in that art community. Artists coming into our store, you know, sitting and chatting. I took art lessons from some of those people, and yeah, it was wonderful.
Wow, to really hone your craft, right? How beautiful. And curious, did any of your siblings also kind of follow that artist trail, or were you the only one?
Yeah, I was the only one. However, my oldest sister, who was my biggest supporter and fan, always, you know, encouraging me and excited about everything I was creating. Because quite honestly, I stopped painting probably when I was about 18 until I was maybe 30. And then I picked it up because actually I think I was about 28 when I picked it up again, because I started my spiritual journey. And that is the very first thing that opens up for people in their spiritual journeys, is that creative flow, right? They have that urge to get creative. So I picked it up again, but just played with it in my own, and then didn't seriously paint again until maybe 14 years ago, when after my son went through a really difficult time, a drug addiction, and I just started to paint for me, and it came right from my soul. So that is kind of what came out, like this painting back here, just very bright colors flowing, and I loved it. So interestingly enough, my sister was 50 before she picked up a pencil and started to draw, and thought, well, I'll just try. And her drawings are phenomenal. Like it looks like photographs in pencils. So we all have the creativity within us, but yeah, my brother's very creative.
Unleash it.
Exactly.
Okay,
that,
so
and
tell us about that spiritual journey. Was there a catalyst? You know, what was the awakening? What was the light bulb moment?
Yes. Well, after working in my father's business in my, you know, early 20s, I decided to learn interior design. So I took some interior design courses and started my own business. And then eventually opened up a franchise business called Decorating Den, which I think it's still going these days. It's an American-based company where, you know, we went in and helped people decorate their homes. And it ended up in bankruptcy. And so at the age of 28, I believe I was, everything came, like it was just a huge amount of stress. There was actually a lot of stress in my life growing up and right up until then. And it all just, you know, the tower came crumbling down, because it took me to rock bottom, and I just came back to, sorry, I have somebody driving by.
That's okay. We have fur babies.
Yeah. Come here.
Come here.
Somebody, can I pause for 1 second?
Sure.
So after a slight pause, anybody who has fur babies knows exactly what that's like. So it's all good. So let's go back, Janice, if you don't mind, to catalyst and things like that created the journey that you're on now with your spirituality.
Right. Okay. So in my late 20s, I had a decorating company that I ended up going into bankruptcy with. And so that experience was very humbling and very humiliating at the same time. And very, it made me look at my life and go, well, like, what now? Like, I thought that was where I was going for at least the next 10 years in my life. And I was very passionate. I thought, well, I'm decorating. This is part of my creative flow. You know, I love decorating. But yeah, the universe had another plan for me, and which is totally fine, because in the end, I was not enjoying the decorating as much as I could have. So I think that, you know, abrupt change was wonderful. And at that time, then, as I was searching and saying, okay, what? Because through the bankruptcy was when I fell to my knees and said, universe, like, I just don't know what to do anymore. I was right backed up against a corner. I had 3 little kids, and I was just an emotional mess. And it was through that experience of me opening up and saying, help me, whatever's out there, help me. And everything started to fall into place after the bankruptcy. I met a woman, coincidentally, there are no coincidences, but it happened. And she was a shaman, and she invited me to come to her circle. So I ended up studying with her for 3 years and learning a lot of psychospiritual development, a lot of healing modalities, the shamanic journeying, soul retrievals, so much. And that was the foundation of my training, what she taught me. And so I kept going, and I had a best friend who lived next door to me, who was also joining me on this journey. And we would spend a lot of time together reading cards for each other, you know, practicing and talking, journaling. And so that, you know, started my spiritual awakening. And I read and read and read so many beautiful books. You know, I think the very first book I had read was a Tony Robbins, you know, Awaken the Giant Within. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do this. I'm so excited. But back then there was no internet. And I read Marianne Williamson and Wayne Dyer, and I just kept going over and like expanding and growing. And you know, in hindsight, when you look at your journey, it's interesting how it all works out, because I mean, I was always on a spiritual path. Even when I was a little kid, I was going to my friends' churches to figure out what is this spirituality. So I came back to it, and then ended up taking my teaching degree and coming back to my art, teaching art more. And now used to be 3 separate paths. I had my career of teaching, I had my spirituality in the closet, right? And I had my art that I did on my own. And now they all come together into one path, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. So yeah. So now when you do art with me, it's all about a personal self-awareness and growth. And the Creation Guild is all about getting better and better and better at manifesting consciously in your life, that you are the artist of your life.
Beautiful.
I love that. Cheryl, have you got a burning question?
Well, I would love, Janice, to hear a little bit more about what you're offering now and what you're up to right now. Because I mean, I know a little bit, but I'm pretty sure our watchers, our circle, our flock is curious at this point in time, because they're looking at the art that's behind you, which is spectacular.
Thank you. Yes. Oh, I'm so excited, because everything is just growing and expanding. And right now, it just feels like the energy is like bursting out of me. I have several courses and trainings that I offer. My Dream and Journey course it's an online course. You can do it on your own. I'm not offering it with me right now, but I will offer it in January. But you can also, there's a version of just doing it on your own. And in that is where we create the mandalas, oops, sorry, up here, the beautiful painted mandalas. It's all about mandala painting. And I'm looking up here because I have some of my dream mandalas. So a dream mandala is where you get super, super clear of what you want to create. And then you put it into a beautiful mandala that we draw. And you put words and pictures, like just your own drawings. We don't cut and paste anything. This is all your energy that pours into the mandala. And I have been creating mandalas since my training with my shaman. And I was taught by another elder in the community, in the Native community. She taught us about the mandalas, and oh my gosh, everything that I ever put on my mandala is always manifesting for me. So that's a dream and journey. And right now I am starting the Creative Mystics course August 1st, which is the course that brought me out of my closet. When I came out of my closet and said, I stopped kind of tippy-toeing around the terminology of psycho-spiritual development or channeling and all of that. I was tippy-toeing around that for a couple of years, and I finally went, what am I doing? I need to be me. I need to be my full authentic self. So I sent out an email to all my subscribers and said, coming out, this is who I am. And I get it if this scares you and you don't want to be here, but you just need to know that this is who I am. And wonderful support from everyone. And then the Creative Mystic course came up where I said, I'm going to teach you everything that I have ever learned from my shamanic training and through the years on channeling, channeling for you, developing your intuition, your ability to hear that voice. And then also in the end, by the end of the 6-month journey, you can start to channel for other people. So that one is starting on August 1st. I'm super excited about it. I also have Clearing Debris Through Forgiveness, which is beginning, that one was starting August 1st. Clearing Debris Through Forgiveness is August 15th, and it's a 6-week journey of really cleaning up your energy, like clearing out any guilt, shame, past patterns, anything that is holding you back from growing your energy and expanding your energy even more and manifesting more quickly, right? So it's everything is all about energy. And that's, yeah, where I come from. And then the Mystic Business course begins September 7th. And it is the energetic foundations of your business. So it's about creating the energy first. One thing I learned between my business now, my business that went bankrupt, was there was no energetic foundation in my interior decorating business. And I was working from fear. There were so many holes in that energetically, and I can see that super clearly now. And so the Mystic Business is a course where we go through step by step, creating that energy, a strong energetic foundation that will just grow and expand, and your clients are drawn to you. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, okay, so that's what's happening right now.
So I know that that Cheryl has taken one of your courses, and so now a couple of questions. So are all of your courses, do they involve that expression, that outward expression of art, so that your students are taking that emotional stuck energy and bringing it forth and putting it on canvas? And or are some of them not, or are they all integrated with the art?
Yeah, that's a great question. They are very much integrated with the art, especially the Creative Mystics. The one that Cheryl is in is my yearly program. And that one is, we do a shamanic painting each month. And we do that in the Creative Mystics too. There's a lot of art journal prompts and journaling prompts. So it's a lot of like moving that energy out onto the canvas, onto paper. And Dream and Journey is very much creative. Clearing Debris Through Forgiveness is very creative. There's a lot in that one of just, what's coming through, what's coming up for you, and then we put it out onto the canvas, and you're able to then see even more the messages coming through, because what comes out onto the canvas is sometimes very surprising, and you can look at it and go, wow, okay, what does that symbolize, right? What is that? The mystic business isn't as much, but we do create a dream mandala for your business. So we have that portion in there. Yeah. So everything is so much fun. Creative.
So
and fun.
Cheryl, do you want to could you want to share with us your dragonfly one or not?
I can absolutely. Give me 1 second here.
No, just, just so people can say, okay, well, yeah, like the thing is, like Cheryl said, I can't paint or whatever. Like when Cheryl showed me this, I was like, wow, it's beautiful.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Thank you.
And so we take a shamanic journey. I take you through a lot of guided meditations and journeys, and then we paint, and we'll infuse the canvas with our intentions. So there's an energetic layer in that of putting our intentions into the canvas, and that's why they become so special. Like that dragonfly painting for Cheryl, I'm sure, is not just a dragonfly painting. When she looks at it, she sees and feels the energy of that journey.
And that's, for me, it's starting to grow that way. My most recent painting has way more energy for me in it than anything else. And it's probably because through the shamanic journey, you just said, paint. There's no theme here. So where the other ones, we did have a bit of a theme with them. So honestly, the dragonfly is beautiful, but okay. It's a dragonfly. It doesn't have the meaning behind it for me. However, the most recent one, which you can kind of see a little bit of up here, is starting to develop into something that's, I've been told that there's another layer to go with it. And I know this month our shamanic journey is about the wolf, and I've, found a wolf that will be part of that, but the other layers got to go on first. And it, because it's actually coming out of me and I have no control as to the end result of it, it has more meaning, if that makes sense at all.
No, that's perfect. That's exactly where you want to get to, is allowing, is just playing with it. And it could be layer upon layer upon layer, but just playing with it. And it's like, oh, I'm inspired to put this on. So I put it on, and then,
I don't like that at all.
Or I'll put another layer on, right? So I do have some angel wings to my left here that was exactly that. It was a meditation, and then paint whatever came out, whatever symbols came out of the meditation, and then another meditation, and then paint. And it was several, probably 6 or 7, 8 layers on that one. And then I put the angel wings on the top. So it's just, you got to just follow that flow.
But I have to say, there's, especially at the beginning, because I'm a little bit of a, Anita will laugh because she knows, a control freak. I want to control every little bit of it, that I can remember reaching out to Janice going, okay, I just want to quit already. Because I had the expectation that my first painting would be fantastic.
Van Gogh.
Oh, hell no. So it is a process. It's not about learning to paint. This is not about learning to paint.
I love that. It's an expression, and I think too, when we look at our spiritual awakening and awareness, and, a lot of the things that we've all learned from some of the great teachers of our time, of the last 25 to 30 years, is that the creative process is so important. And I know in feng shui, we're always enhancing the children and creativity area of people's homes. And it seems to be the last thing that people put on their list, when in fact, it should be the first thing, because we are creators. we are innately, naturally creators.
Mm-hmm.
And that, you know, to be able to express that, whether it's through painting or any art form, really brings out that playfulness, that joy. And you know, and I think we're hearing that more and more, or at least I am,
Yeah.
that it's about joy. It's about living a joy-filled life. And so how do we do that? We have to, you know, unleash that creative part of that's in all of us, to let it out and get, you know, I love that you're doing this, Janice, because it's also, you know, it's like that feng shui, it's that inner world, outer world. So you're taking those emotional, that stuck energy in the inner world and getting it out there and creating something anew and beautiful. I absolutely love it. Mhm.
Thank you.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Now, I also
beautifully
know
said.
Janice has published her first book.
Ooh,
So
Yeah.
please
us,
tell us
tell us.
about that.
Okay. That is what started kind of this whole business. The Creation Guild is the name of my book, and it is like a handbook of how to consciously, intentionally make space to create in your life and your life. So it is about manifesting. It is about consciously creating the life of your dreams. And so it's a small book, but it had been growing in me for several years, and it did come through very quickly when I finally decided that yes, I could do this. I actually could do this, right? It actually downloaded that day, all in one day, all the chapters, and the first introduction and the first couple chapters got written. So it came through very, very quickly. And it's a wonderful book, especially if you are just beginning the journey of the spirituality or the awareness that, hey, there's something more here that we're
Mhm.
not using. There's some kind of power here that I don't know what it is, and I don't know what to call it, but I know there's something else going on here because there's some pretty cool things happening in my life. And so the Creation Guild book is a really great place to get you going and remind you of how to connect to that power.
Mm,
And
love
let it
it.
flow through you. Yes, I think
And
any artist or musician feels
mhm,
that flow, right? The dancers, yeah.
mhm,
Sorry, go ahead.
That's channeling,
Mhm.
right? I use that term or that example quite often. Everybody is a channel.
mhm,
We just channel
Right.
differently. Some verbally, but artists channel their art. Dancers channel movement, right?
mhm.
Athletes. How
Mhm.
many times have you seen an athlete after they've won go, thank you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm,
Yeah.
Because they know it wasn't just them,
mhm,
Right.
right? Very
Right.
cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Oh,
That's right.
love it.
And I feel
mhm.
that way about everything. All my courses
Yeah.
come through. Yeah.
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 And that sounds like the book itself, as you mentioned, is a bit of a how-to, but it's a great start. It's a starting point.
Mhm. It is. And also, I think because my story is in there of when I was working full time as a teacher and I was completely burnt out, and I would spend my weekends just trying to catch up my energy again. And there was no space for my creative flow at all. And
Mm,
so when I finally decided I can't live this way, I'm going to die from something because I'm choking off that creativity. And so I went part-time and wrote my book. And so there's a lot of people that really connect to that and
Mhm.
go, oh
yeah.
my gosh, you're speaking to me. Right? Mhm.
And
Mhm,
all of that has led you to, and I know we're kind of running out of time here, has led you to your current and new mission. And I would
Mhm.
love for you to share some of that with everybody.
Um, the Hold on a second. Hey,
You got two of them down there, one on each hand.
yeah, yeah. Just I gave them bones to be quiet, and
Oh,
now they're
yeah.
going to fight over the bones. Um, so do you mean you have to explain what my current mission is? That about the women rising up?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Okay, yes, absolutely. Oh my goodness. We are in such dire need of powerful female leaders, and female leaders that can self-lead in their own life, that can do the work that is needed to do to keep their energy clear and clean, and to keep expanding their energy, because the world is changing and we are shifting to the divine feminine collective healing energy. But if we aren't in the space, if we aren't ready to lead now, we need to get there quickly, right? We need to get there because it's like the universe is saying, okay, ladies, let's do this. Let's heal the world, because that masculine patriarchal way of doing things is not working. And, there's no woman in the world that raises her son to go off to war. That's not what we do. We know how to raise our children for peace and love and growth. And so we're direly needed. And so my question to all the women is, are we ready? Are we ready to link arms and do it together? There can't be any competition between us. There can't be any, triggers because of what she said or she's doing, or, if we have those triggers, we need to work on them now. We need to clean them out and then help each other and celebrate each other, celebrate successes, and rise up together, so that we are here to help heal the world. Can't fix it, we need to heal it, right? And that is the divine feminine leadership energy that will do that, right? So it means that we need to be fully feminine, and allowing ourselves to be fully feminine, giving ourselves permission to feel all the feelings that we feel, no longer stuffing them down because we're trying to be more masculine in the world, but to actually lead with our feminine energy. And so when we have the feelings that naturally come up, when we have the aching heart and the sorrow or anger or anything, we need to learn how to walk with that and still stand in our power. So say, yes, I'm having these feelings. This is going on right here, but I am still standing strong in my power, and I am still able to, get involved and say, this is breaking my heart, but I want to help make the change. So that happened. Now what? Now what do we do to create a better world? And so that is coming through very strongly right now. And that is going to be coming through as a new course, I think. It is absolutely bubbling up. And I think that next week I'm going off on holidays. And I think that through that week, I'm going to be downloading quite a bit more about how that will look coming up here in the fall. So I'm excited about that. But that powerful energy, that expanded energy, standing in that energy, regardless of what's going on around us, is where power truly is.
Okay, well, I know that all of our listeners, viewers are going to be excited to check out your website, and we're going to put the links in the comments and all of that, how they can get a hold of this beautiful, loving soul, Janice Gallant. We're privileged to have you come on as our guest today. And so thank you from Feng Shui with Anita and Cheryl. And thank you all for tuning in to our channel, F.L.A.W.C. You never know who's going to show up here. Okay, thanks everyone.
Thanks,
Bye for
Janet.
now.